Not knowing what to write, not knowing how to put feelings into words on paper.
If only I could, then I could make paper boats and airplanes and send them halfway across the world so that everyone could feel what I feel, could think what I think.
Like music. We all hear but understand differently.
And although this is a fate I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy, there's comfort in knowing that there are others like me, others who get me. But don't get me wrong, I'm not a bird trapped in a cage, but a bird who's forgotten how to sing and fly.
You could walk a mile in my shoes and watch the soles wear out, but that doesn't mean your feet will tire out the same way mine did. It doesn't mean you'll encounter the same battlefield.
Our similarities don't overshadow our differences, because I can be both the sun and the moon.
I can be both alive and dead.
I can be running through a field at top speed, but really only be going at the pace of a car with 4 flat tires.
I can be flying over clouds with birds' wings grazing my fingertips, but really only be lying on the ground just wishing I could.
We're all made of the same skeleton, but we can never begin to understand the barriers that divide us.
You don't have the same fractured bones I do. We can be planted from the same seeds, but that doesn't mean we'll bloom the same way. Our petals won't necessarily be the same color, the wind won't blow us in the same directions, but still, we're all flowers.
However, when we begin to rot and die at the roots, it's hard to consider ourselves beautiful, no matter how much we wish we could believe it. It's when we're at that stage that we finally realize that we're all suffering, but we're all too suffocated by our own struggles to notice it. And trust me, where there is agony, there is screaming, but no scream is loud enough to be heard.
I'm hurting, just listen. Can't you hear me? Subconsciously, I can hear your shouts. I hear you calling for me, but even then, my own issues and problems drown you out.
I'm drowning.
Bubbles escape my lips, reaching for the surface of the water where they can be set free, but I'll never be strong enough to swim to the surface.
Can you hear me now? I'm trying my best to make you understand that I'm jumping over hurdles at every turn, but I continue to knock them over every time I try to leap.
Can you hear me now? It's splendid, isn't it? Knowing that no matter what you do, no one can save you from the fire burning inside your head, from the flames, from the ringing in your ears, the smoke clouds, all your senses. Until the only thing you're certain of, the only thing you know is real, is the pain in your head. Can you hear me now? I said, can you hear me now?
You must know how I feel. After all, you've been here before, but your screams are louder than mine. I understand that you can't hear my shouts over your own. Besides, I can't hear yours.
Because even though we know we're both suffering, even though we know how similar we really are, we're trapped in our own world of misery, our own endless story that's missing a protagonist, our own bubble that muffles our wailing.
And although I know there is no use in trying right away, maybe once our throats are no longer raw,
I will hear you.